on the real side, what individuals refer to as the dream arena. When an individual leaves the body at night, a physical, astral, limited individual would only experience the astral parts of itself. Yes, all individuals can go anywhere in creation on the real side, exploring any part of themselves. But cocooned into a consideration and overstimulation of the astral self will have them unable to perceive beyond the physical and astral life levels. Consequently, the dreams recollected can only be the astral areas of the self. The other areas, even if explored, will be beyond the individual's ability to perceive through the filtering layer of the predominant astral aspect of the self. When individuals pass over, they will automatically go on to the astral, and the same limitation as a result of being physical astral only will apply. We say how perception and recognition is required to position oneself deeper into the self on transition, to assume a position in the mental or ethereal levels. It's not so much that the way is barred or blocked, as there is no actual movement of distance or space in the isness that life is. It's according to the perceptual recognition that allows how far into the self an individual can station themselves on transition. Their experience is according to where focus is predominant, and which parts of the created self experiential creations are constantly stemming from. For the experience always follows the causes. We enclose ourselves in experiences as we constantly overutilize the astral self, and this is very much demonstrated on the real side and on transition. We cannot then move beyond the astral, simply because for us it isn't available. It's there as every part of our created self and life level must be, but we are enclosed in the experience that we have created from the astral self, and enclose ourselves thus in an astral level experience. We haven't taken the time to move beyond the considerations of the created consciousness. We haven't removed the tap-lining agreements and emotional attachments that limit us to the astral. We haven't taken the time to recognize and perceive more of ourselves than just the physical and astral. We have limited ourselves then. We are boxed into our own decided experience, and many will not even be aware of the life levels and parts of themselves beyond the physical, let alone be able to perceive them. for perception of parts of ourselves requires a similar process that we need by which to recognize the real universes, a comparison. Exploring deeper parts of our creation requires the perception of it, the recognition, and we gradually move into our creation as we compare what we have known to the unknown parts of ourselves. This would be one of the gifts of the real universal guides, as they would endeavour to afford us a greater awareness of first our creation and then the real universes. They would take us to the parts of ourselves and life levels that we have had no perception, recognition of for maybe millions of lifetimes, and this would facilitate more expansive experiences and a step-by-step process through the personal self. We also will be made aware of the restrictions and self-convictions which keep us locked in perceptual experience of just the astral parts of ourselves on the real side and on transition. We would begin to shake off the tap lines, which are effectively simply the creational ideas that we are deciding and agreeing with. Creational ideas, generally of a physical, astral nature, which ensures our little bubbles of limited real-side experience and positioning on transition until we release them. From the physical level perspective, as we stand in creation, we can learn to access greater parts of ourselves in every new moment. We can place the overused mind and emotions aside and utilize more so the imagination, which will also have our intuitive juices flowing, as the intuition is the part of our creation that we can access if we get beyond the created consciousness of the mind and emotions. They will always be there, but it's a case of stepping around them and not applying emotion and mental consideration to every experience we walk into. More so that we assume an objective, detached view. For if we place the created consciousness aside and assume a position of being now, this coupled with our connection to the real awareness through the New You song and our real intent to do so, will have us in the new nowness. We are effectively then in the created simulator with our created personal self, but at any given moment we can step into this new nowness, which is our real awareness, and it's encouraged to be in this state more so, as it is from here that we need to be, to perceive best what life and the guides are demonstrating to us. For this real awareness is the objective detached view, and instead of getting immersed in the experience, we very much maintain our position as the real view and the experiencer, and we won't be now subjecting ourselves to limited experience. On the real side, this will be more demonstrable as limited, on the physical less apparent, and yet everything is an isness. As much as we can't move beyond the blocked in experience of the physical astral self on the real side and on transition, we will not be accessing information, impressions, insights and guidance from life or the guides on the physical very readily either, as our limited consideration and astral impenetrable bubbles will have us shielded from anything coming into our experience from the deeper parts of ourselves. We are more likely to miss the golden nuggets of demonstration, the intuitive impressions, and the input from the real awareness. In such a limited state, we also are less likely to recognize what's really happening in the world on the physical level. Our astral shield will prevent awareness of what's happening all around us. We are unable to see past the marketed fronts because we cannot see beyond the physical, astral aspects of ourselves on the physical level. The awareness of anything beyond the astral, which would afford awareness of what is behind the marketing fronts, is unavailable, and so a connection to the real awareness and the maintenance of this being isness state of new nowness is best for the best possible discernment and awareness of what's going on, as this state has us operating on the physical level not only beyond cause and effect, which nullifies karma effectively, but beyond the filtering layers of the personal consciousness that would have us very much asleep and unconscious to what's going on around us, the rapid demise of the world. And then, from this being isness state, we are now connected to our real awareness. We are viewing our real selves from the perspective of the personal self in creation. We appreciate also that every experience in creation is what the true reality is not, regardless of the nature of the experience. We could be buying a bag of chips, or accompanying alien beings on the real side. The experiences are a step, and necessary for comparison purposes. The personal self requires experience to relate to, and compare with new experiences to recognize them. But every experience, be it with the guides or anything from the physical level all through the levels of creation, pertains to creation only. We will endeavour to always generate new experiences on the physical level that make sense in accordance with life itself. As we walk into something new, we can say we are affording ourselves a new view, and this will very much stimulate greater awareness consequently. For if we just do what we always have, the experience can't change, and so the awareness required to recognize the experience here and on the real side isn't required. So even if we have awareness to a point and have lots of experiences, we never want to stagnate, to stop, even if the real experiences persist. For if we stop creatively manifesting new views, then we cannot glean any more awareness. We need to constantly spark the awareness that is required to recognize these new positions. This is why the guides always seek to stretch our experiences on the real side, to encourage greater awareness that is required for recognition of the new places that the guides take us to. This is sometimes why we have real side dreams that run like a movie, and others that are hard for the personal self to discern. The more difficult ones must be in areas of life harder to recognize, that require more awareness and effort on our part to decipher. And then ultimately the objective is to recognize the real self from the position of this new nowness state in creation, and this falls upon each individual to do, for a recognition cannot be explained, considered, or literalized, but with the real intent to do so, the sincerity to succeed, and the focus on this endeavour, with sharing the ease, which in turn has us earn our awareness in keeping with the notion of everything equaling itself, we gradually begin to then see the true reality. And once we have the recognition of it, not all of it, as it is endless, but enough that we can stand real with it, we can supersede the need for the personal created self, and shrug it off like an old overcoat. We recognize ourselves through our created personal self, and with the personal created self gone, our awareness can only be now with the isness, as there is no longer any creation or simulator encasing it, and our journey is complete, our real intent actualized, and we can move forever into the endlessness of the isness.